Over the years, communicating information about the weather has become so much more than people in offices or a meteorologist forecasting on TV.
An interdependent relationship has been established between government, industry, and academia that provides weather and climate information and services in the United States.
Here's an inside look at the way weather is broken down and the inner workings of each sector.
Weather and climate directly affect the U.S. economy and the health and safety of its citizens. It is important to have the best weather and climate information the nation can afford due to the great influence of weather and climate on society.
$20 billion per year is spent on weather-related damages, and hundreds of millions of dollars are saved each year by taking action based on improved forecasts, warnings, and other weather services.
In the United States, the weather and climate enterprise has evolved since its inception in the 1800s to include 3 sectors, each of which plays a unique and vital role. They are the National Weather Service, academia, and the private sector.
The National Weather Service is responsible for protecting life and property and enhancing the national economy. It maintains an infrastructure of observing, communications, data processing, and prediction systems. In addition, it conducts research on which the public, such as the federal, state, and local government agencies, private, and academic sectors rely, as well as negotiating data exchange agreements with other countries.
Academia is responsible for advancing the science and educating future generations of meteorologists. The private sector, such as weather companies, meteorologists working for private companies or as private consultants, and broadcast meteorologists, is responsible for creating products and services. These are tailored to the needs of their company or clients and for working with the NWS to communicate forecasts and warnings that may affect public safety.
However, there is friction between the public, private, and academic sectors due to overlapping roles. These include data collection, modeling and analysis, product development, and information dissemination.
Although there still is some stress and tension, it's not as much of a problem as it was, say, back in the 1990s.
Also, the sectors have different philosophies of sharing data and models with the other sectors and the general public. In addition, all members do not share the same expectations and understanding of the proper roles and responsibilities of the 3 sectors.
There's a human tendency to resist change, and as the weather and climate enterprise has evolved, dealing with change has created additional stress.
The National Research Council released the Fair Weather Report November 2002 on the enterprise collaboration. It was compiled with a total of 11 recommendations, with the first 3 being the most critical.
The first recommendation was that the NWS should replace its 1991 public-private partnership policy with a policy that doesn't rigidly define the roles of the NWS and the private sector. The second recommendation was that the NWS should establish an independent advisory committee to provide ongoing advice to its on weather and climate matters. The committee is composed of users of weather and climate data and representatives of the public, private, and academic sectors. The third and last recommendation was that the NWS and relevant academic, state, and private organizations should seek a neutral host, such as the American Meteorological Society, to provide a periodic venue for the weather enterprise as a whole to discuss issues related to the public-private partnership.
The most important result of the Fair Weather Report to date has been the creation of a much more open communications process between the 3 segments.
For Up in the Air, I'm Veronica Dolan.
And I'm Christina Persch.